In just a single day, he delivered two surprises that few anticipated would resonate so powerfully. The first came during the main Calvin Klein runway event at New York Fashion Week. Surrounded by Hollywood actors, American supermodels, and global press outlets, Jungkook not only attended but captivated the very group often considered the hardest to impress: American celebrities who are accustomed to high spectacle. The second moment unfolded hours later at the Calvin Klein Afterparty, where Jungkook shifted from runway elegance to refined evening charisma. His presence, demeanor, and interactions elevated the after-hours celebration into another defining stage, one that proved his versatility not just as a brand ambassador, but as a cultural force capable of adapting to every setting. These two appearances, delivered within less than 24 hours, demonstrate more than just Jungkook's rising presence in fashion. They reveal a carefully layered narrative of transformation, strategy, and influence, bridging entertainment and luxury style in a way that few artists can achieve. To understand why these two surprises matter, one must look beyond the surface of flashing cameras and red carpets and consider the deeper mechanisms of influence, branding, and artistry at play. The first of Jungkook's two surprises came during the Calvin Klein runway presentation. New York Fashion Week is no stranger to celebrity attendance. It thrives on it. But what set this moment apart was the reaction Jungkook evoked among American celebrities who themselves are frequent figures at the event. Fashion critics noted how the atmosphere shifted upon his entrance. While fans outside the venue had been anticipating his appearance for weeks, insiders were not prepared for how thoroughly he would command attention inside the show itself. The look he presented, minimalist, sharp, yet undeniably modern, was described by fashion journalists as the epitome of Calvin Klein's evolving identity. The brand has always thrived on simplicity infused with confidence, and Jungkook embodied that aesthetic with precision. What struck observers most was not only the clothes but the aura he carried. Actors and models accustomed to front-row dominance were reportedly caught turning their heads toward him, a subtle yet powerful acknowledgement that his presence was altering the dynamics of the event. This reaction was not accidental. Calvin Klein has invested heavily in positioning Jungkook as a global icon of its brand. Yet New York Fashion Week posed a particular challenge. The American fashion scene is notoriously competitive, and attention can be fleeting when so many figures of global prominence gather in one place. That Jungkook managed to stand out amid such saturation speaks to the magnitude of his influence. He wasn't just another guest, he became the axis of conversation both in mainstream media coverage and on digital platforms immediately after the show ended. For American celebrities, many of whom are familiar with global fame, Jungkook's entrance represented something rare, a reminder that true charisma can eclipse even the most polished performances. The applause that followed the runway presentation wasn't only for the fashion on display, but for the energy he brought into the room. In that moment, Jungkook established himself as more than a star visiting a fashion event. He became a peer to some of the most influential figures in American entertainment, recognized not for his music alone, but for his undeniable authority in style. If the runway event was a declaration of global visibility, the afterparty was proof of adaptability and range. Afterparties are often underestimated in their importance, but within the fashion industry, they are where reputations are solidified. It is one thing to shine under the structured spotlight of a runway show, and another to navigate the informal yet high-stakes environment of an after-hours gathering. At the Calvin Klein Afterparty, Jungkook made his second surprise of the day. Rather than fading into the background as some celebrities might, he elevated the gathering into an extension of the main event. His choice of attire for the evening was described as refined, elegant, and distinct from his earlier look. Where the runway demanded sharp minimalism, the after-party allowed for a different expression, still aligned with Calvin Klein's ethos, but adapted to a more relaxed, intimate setting. The duality revealed not only a deep understanding of fashion, but also a mastery of personal branding. Observers noted how Jungkook interacted within the space. Rather than drawing attention solely through spectacle, he commanded it with presence. Conversations with designers, industry insiders, and fellow celebrities reflected a sense of mutual recognition. His aura was not one of an invited guest, but of an equal participant, a figure whose contribution to the night was as critical as the brand itself. The photographs and videos captured at the party, later circulating widely across social media, cemented this perception. Fans around the world reacted to his transformation from runway icon to evening elegance, but insiders recognized it as a calculated move that spoke volumes about his growing sophistication in navigating global stages. The after-party appearance mattered precisely because it wasn't predictable. Many expected Jungkook to impress during the fashion show. After all, his partnership with Calvin Klein has consistently delivered iconic moments. But few foresaw how he would elevate the secondary stage of the after-party, a setting often overshadowed by the main event. By turning it into his own arena, he demonstrated that his influence extends beyond the scripted and into the spontaneous. What makes these two appearances truly significant is how they work together as a narrative. Separately, either the runway moment or the after-party elegance would have been headline-worthy. Together, however, they create a double statement that expands Jungkook's role in the fashion industry. First, he proved his ability to captivate the most critical and seasoned of audiences, American celebrities and fashion insiders. Then, within hours, he revealed his capacity to adapt, transform, and redefine himself in a different environment without losing the consistency of his identity. This dual demonstration communicates a clear message. Jungkook is not a passive collaborator with fashion brands. He is an active force, shaping how these brands are perceived on the world stage. The impact rippled immediately through media coverage. Articles analyzing the event highlighted his dual appearances as defining moments of the day, while social media trended with hashtags celebrating both his runway look and his after-party transformation. For fans, it was a day filled with pride and celebration. For industry experts, it was a day that underscored his growing authority as a cultural bridge between East and West, music and fashion, performance and presence. Fashion events are often remembered for their spectacle, but Jungkook's two surprises carry significance that stretches further. They signal a larger shift in the role of global icons within fashion. Traditionally, celebrities attending Fashion Week were passive participants, invited guests lending their star power to a brand's visibility. Jungkook, however, reversed that dynamic. Rather than simply adding to Calvin Klein's prestige, he became the highlight through which the brand's prestige was amplified. This shift illustrates the growing power of cross-industry figures. Jungkook is not only a musician or an idol, he is a multi-dimensional figure whose presence shapes cultural conversation. His dual performance at New York Fashion Week is a case study in how influence now operates, not through singular appearances, but through layered, interconnected narratives that span multiple stages of an event. As the fashion industry increasingly intersects with global entertainment, figures like Jungkook redefine what it means to succeed on these platforms. His ability to deliver two surprises in one day demonstrates not only talent, but also strategy, adaptability, and an intuitive grasp of audience psychology. His dual performance demonstrated that these two worlds are no longer parallel but interconnected. The applause he received from American celebrities during the runway event shows recognition from one cultural sphere. The digital celebration that followed reveals loyalty from another. Together, they converge on Jungkook as a focal point, making him a figure who transcends boundaries rather than being confined to one industry or region. This bridging role carries long-term implications. It suggests that future fashion events may no longer rely exclusively on Western stars for validation. Instead, the presence of global icons like Jungkook could redefine what mainstream representation means. By succeeding in both the formal runway and the intimate afterparty, Jungkook proved that he can navigate and merge these spaces without losing his authenticity. The significance of Jungkook's two surprises lies not only in what they achieved for him or Calvin Klein, but in what they reveal about the current cultural moment. Celebrity power is no longer singular. It is layered, contextual, and transnational. To thrive, a figure must be able to command respect across multiple arenas, adapt to shifting dynamics, and generate narratives that extend beyond the event itself. Jungkook's day at New York Fashion Week is a blueprint for this new model of influence. The runway moment proved dominance within structured, high-profile visibility. The after-party moment confirmed adaptability and authenticity within unstructured, intimate environments. Together, they reveal a formula that few others have managed to execute at this level. The ability to turn one day into a global cultural event that spans industries and audiences. This is why the fashion world is still discussing him, why fans are still replaying his appearances, and why Calvin Klein has emerged from the event with a renewed sense of prestige. The double surprise was not accidental, nor was it simply luck. It was the manifestation of preparation, instinct, and a rare kind of presence that can hold together diverse spaces without losing momentum. The question now is not whether Jungkook can dominate fashion stages, but how far he will take this influence. If one day at New York Fashion Week could create such resonance, what might an entire fashion season look like with him at the forefront? What collaborations, campaigns, or brand reinventions might follow from this demonstration of power? The answers remain to be seen, but one thing is certain. The dual surprises he delivered are not isolated events. They are signals of a trajectory that is only rising. By stunning American celebrities at the runway and redefining elegance at the after-party, Jungkook has placed himself in a position where the fashion world now looks not only at Calvin Klein, but at him directly as a figure capable of shaping the conversation on his own terms. In the grand scheme of New York Fashion Week, countless designers and celebrities made appearances, but few moments will be remembered with the same clarity and impact as Jungkook's double performance. It was not just a good day for Calvin Klein, it was a turning point in how the fashion industry understands global influence.